You can feel it, can't you? Something is shifting. There's a stirring in your spirit that words can't explain, a divine electricity moving through the unseen. It's as if time itself is trembling, waiting to release what's been held back for far too long. Listen closely, because this is not a coincidence. You didn't stumble here by chance. Heaven scheduled this moment. You are hearing this because the delay is over. What once moved slowly is about to move suddenly. What once crawled through years of waiting is about to leap in a single divine moment. You've endured long nights of uncertainty where prayers echoed into silence. You've watched doors that seemed so close slam shut right before your eyes. But God says, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. I was saving the right moment to accelerate your destiny. The waiting season wasn't wasted time, it was alignment time. Every unanswered prayer, every hidden battle, every tear that fell unseen, it was preparing the atmosphere for this exact hour. And now, everything begins to move. Heaven's momentum has shifted in your favor. The gears that seemed rusted in delay are suddenly turning with divine speed. The same story that felt like it was stuck on pause is about to skip chapters, because when God moves, He doesn't need permission from time. Chosen one, I need you to understand this truth when divine acceleration comes. It doesn't follow logic. It doesn't follow order. It bends the laws of process. The ones who laughed at your pace will soon be silenced by your breakthrough. The ones who thought you were behind will see that God was preparing you to surpass. This is not gradual. This is sudden. What took others 10 years will take you 10 weeks. What was stagnant will surge. What was forgotten will be remembered quickly. You are entering a divine fast forward. The very wind of God is behind you now, pushing you into places you once could only dream of. You won't need to chase it, it will overtake you. You won't need to fight for it, it will find you. This is the moment heaven whispers, I am accelerating everything. And if you felt weary from waiting, don't quit now. Because the shift is already in motion, and the breakthrough that felt far is suddenly here. Because when heaven moves, it doesn't ask for your readiness, it reveals your preparation. All that seemed quiet was not silence, it was strategy. While you were waiting, God was working behind veils you could not see, arranging people, timing, and even your emotions to align with the breakthrough you now stand before. You've been wondering why certain doors never reopened, why some people faded from your path, why opportunities seemed to dissolve like mist. It wasn't punishment, it was pruning. God was trimming everything that could not travel with you into acceleration. What's about to unfold requires lighter weight, clearer vision, and a heart uncluttered by what used to be. Heaven has been whispering over your timeline now. There's a divine clock that doesn't measure hours, but readiness. And suddenly, that clock struck alignment. The shift isn't random, it's written. Long before you ever prayed for this moment, heaven inscribed it in your story. You were destined to walk through delay, not because God forgot you, but because delay forged in you the endurance that speed requires. Acceleration without foundation leads to collapse. So while you thought nothing was happening, roots were being strengthened. Your obedience in hidden seasons built the runway for divine momentum. And now the runway is clear. The sound you hear in your spirit, that vibration of anticipation, is the sound of takeoff. God is saying, I withheld what you wanted to give you, what I promised. Every season of waiting was a setup for this surge. Every not yet was heaven's way of ensuring that when the release came, no man, no system, no opposition could take the credit. You're about to see how suddenly God can rewrite a storyline. One day of divine favor can redeem a decade of delay. One open door can compensate for every closed one. One whisper from heaven can accelerate everything that seemed buried. Do not fear the unfamiliar speed, embrace it. Things will happen fast. Conversations will open unexpectedly. People you never met will mention your name in rooms you never entered. Resources will appear as if drawn by unseen magnets. You'll look around and realize the pieces fit too perfectly to be coincidence, because it's not coincidence. It's orchestration. What you are sensing is the divine hand of God turning pages faster than you can comprehend. And as these pages turn, everything begins to align: your purpose, your provision, your platform, your peace. So don't question the quickness. Don't second-guess the blessing. Heaven isn't rushing. Heaven is restoring lost time. The years you thought were wasted are being folded back into this moment like a divine convergence. Acceleration is not chaos. It's redemption in motion. You're not losing control. You're finally catching up to what was always meant for you. This is the unveiling of divine timing, not too early, not too late. Right on heaven's schedule. And in that perfect timing, God declares, "Now watch me do it suddenly." And now the veil begins to lift. You felt it in glimpses, that sense that something beyond your control has started to move. It's the invisible current of divine alignment gathering strength. The heavens are no longer silent. There's motion, vibration, acceleration. In the unseen realm, things that were once tangled are being untied. Chains that held back your advancement are snapping one by one. And the winds that once blew against you are now shifting, they're blowing for you. There's a decree that has gone forth over your name, sealed by divine authority. It is time. Heaven has signed off on your acceleration. This is the moment where the unseen becomes visible, where the prophetic becomes practical. The same thing you were praying for in tears will now appear before you in clarity. What once felt impossible will suddenly feel effortless. Because God has decided that your timeline can no longer wait. It must catch up to your destiny. Imagine this: you're standing in the middle of a field after a long drought. The ground is cracked dry, lifeless. You've planted seeds, prayed over them, and watched seasons come and go with no sign of life. But then, without warning, clouds form. The air changes. You can smell the rain before it even falls, and in a single downpour, what was barren becomes alive again. That's what's happening now, spiritually, financially, emotionally, relationally. The drought is breaking. The ground is responding. The heavens are open. The Spirit of God says, "I am collapsing time. I am redeeming years in moments. I am turning the slow into sudden." There will be moments in the coming days where you will pause and whisper, "This can't be happening this fast." But it will. It's the divine signature of acceleration blessings, unfolding faster than you can comprehend, miracles manifesting before your eyes finish blinking. Do not be surprised when prayers you almost gave up on start coming to pass, one after another. Do not be confused when old battles suddenly end without struggle. Do not hesitate when opportunities open that you never applied for. This is the era of heaven's speed. Everything attached to your name is being summoned into position. The very environment around you is shifting to make room for what God has released. Projects will advance quickly. Delayed approvals will come through. Hidden favor will surface. And those who once dismissed you will begin to remember your name, not because you sought their attention, but because heaven has placed your name in their spirit. The divine handwriting is on the wall, and it reads, acceleration. In this acceleration, expect divine reversals. Places where you were counted out will call you back in. Expect restoration. What was stolen will return multiplied. Expect relocation, not just in geography, but in position, influence, and spiritual authority. Expect recognition not for fame, but for impact. Expect renewal, and the strength that delay drained from you will return in double measure. There will be days when you'll look around and realize the scenery of your life changed faster than your emotions could process it. That's okay. You are not behind. You're being carried by divine velocity. And though it may seem sudden to you, it's been years in the making to God. He's been setting the stage, moving the pieces, preparing the moment where His suddenly meets your readiness. You've stepped into that collision now, the sacred point where destiny overtakes delay. The doors that once mocked you will open on their own. The favor that once felt distant will locate you without effort. And you'll know deep within that no man could have orchestrated this speed, only God could. The prophecy is unfolding. And it's not just about blessing, it's about divine vindication. God is showing the world that His hand has been on you all along. The very storms that slowed you down were the winds that now lift you higher. This is your sudden season. Not gradual, not partial. Sudden, complete, accelerated. Acceleration is not simply speed, it is divine synchronization. When heaven accelerates something, it's not to rush the process. It's to align you with the timing of purpose that has always been waiting. See, time on earth moves in straight lines, minutes, hours, days. But divine timing is circular. It brings you back to promises you thought were lost, to moments you thought had expired. In the kingdom, nothing delayed is ever denied. It's only waiting for divine alignment. What you call sudden heaven calls scheduled. It's been on the calendar of eternity all along. When God moves in acceleration, it's a signal that spiritual maturity has met divine readiness. You've been tested, refined, and positioned. Now the inward preparation becomes outward manifestation. Think of Joseph, years in the pit, forgotten in the prison, and in one day elevated to the palace. That wasn't luck. It was prophetic timing. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every delay was a gear in heaven's clock turning toward the appointed hour. This is the same principle working in your life right now. Every rejection prepared your humility. Every silence purified your motives. Every lonely night strengthened your discernment. And now, heaven says, the vessel is ready for velocity. Acceleration in its truest spiritual meaning is not about skipping steps, it's about compressed destiny. God takes what could have taken decades and condenses it into days. But He only does that when your character can carry the speed. Because speed without strength destroys, but speed with surrender transforms. You see, the waiting built your wisdom. The stillness built your stamina. And both are required for acceleration. That's why God didn't move when you begged Him to, because if He had, the blessing might have broken you. But now, the blessing will build you. There's a holy rhythm to divine timing, like a heartbeat that only heaven hears. When you were crying, when, Lord, He was answering, when you're ready to handle what I'm sending. And now you are. The meaning behind this sudden breakthrough is deeper than you think. It's not just about answered prayers or visible promotion. It's about spiritual positioning being moved into alignment with what your soul agreed to before time began. You are not just moving faster, you are moving truer. Every step forward is a step closer to your original design, the reason you were sent here in this exact generation. Acceleration happens when heaven and earth agree. It's the moment your faith catches up to your prophecy. It's when your heart posture finally matches the promise you were meant to carry. That's why things feel strange right now. You can sense that something is shifting, yet your mind can't fully explain it. That's divine congruence your spirit already stepped into, what your reality is still catching up to. The storms you survived were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to calibrate you. You were learning to stand in high winds because your next level lives at a higher altitude. The turbulence was training for trajectory. Understand this when God accelerates you. He's not adding more pressure, he's adding more presence. Acceleration doesn't happen by effort, it happens by overflow. The more surrendered you become, the faster the alignment flows. This is the paradox of divine movement. The stiller your spirit becomes, the quicker God can move through you. The kingdom doesn't measure speed by motion, but by obedience. So if you've felt God pushing you to release things, relationships, habits, identities, it's not loss, it's propulsion. You can't carry old weight into accelerated seasons. Even the eagle must drop the dead feathers to catch the next wind. The spiritual depth of this season is this: God is restoring your pace to match your purpose. You were never meant to crawl through destiny. You were meant to soar through it. Delay taught you discernment. Now, acceleration will demand direction. The enemy tried to make you tired before the takeoff because he knew once you reached this velocity, there'd be no stopping you. But you endured. You kept believing, praying, trusting, even when logic said, give up. And now the same faith that survived the waiting will sustain the winning. This breakthrough isn't random. It's revelation in motion. It's the divine response to every silent why you whispered in the dark. God is showing you that nothing was wasted. Every slow season was sacred timing disguised as delay. So breathe and let this truth sink in. You are not behind. You are right on heaven's clock. And as that realization takes root in your spirit, you'll begin to notice that things are no longer moving around you. They're moving with you. You and time are finally walking in agreement. You've stepped into prophetic pace. As acceleration begins, you won't just sense it, you'll see it. Heaven always leaves fingerprints. And for those who are discerning these signs, will whisper, it has begun. The first sign will be divine disruption. Suddenly, routines that once felt stable will start to shift. What used to satisfy will no longer fit. You'll find yourself pulled away from old environments, old conversations, even old versions of yourself. Don't mistake that restlessness for confusion. It's confirmation. God is repositioning you to match the new speed of your calling. The grace that covered the old season has lifted because acceleration requires movement. The second sign will be unusual alignment. You'll begin to encounter people you never expected to meet, divine connections that seem too perfect to be coincidence. Conversations will happen at the exact right moment. Doors will open in directions you never planned to go. These alignments are not luck, they are divine logistics. Heaven is networking your destiny. The third sign will be spiritual quickening. You'll notice your sensitivity to the Spirit increase. Ideas will come faster. Insights will flow effortlessly. Scriptures will come alive as if they were written just for you. It's not your imagination, your spirit is syncing with heaven's rhythm. You are now operating on divine frequency, and it will feel like everything inside you is awakening at once. The fourth sign will be reversal without reason. Things that were stuck for years will suddenly move. Situations that seem dead will come back to life. Someone who once said no may suddenly say yes. Obstacles will dissolve without warning. You'll try to explain it, but you won't be able to. That's how you'll know it's God. His acceleration leaves no fingerprints of human manipulation, only the fragrance of divine intervention. The fifth sign will be peace in motion. In the past, change felt chaotic. But this time, even as everything speeds up, there will be calm in your spirit. It's a peace that doesn't make sense, the kind that can only come when heaven is steering. You'll wake up each morning with a quiet knowing, I'm exactly where I need to be. And the final sign, perhaps the most beautiful, will be confirmation through remembrance. Things you once dreamed about will start happening, not because you forced them, but because you were faithful. You'll hear echoes of old prayers resurfacing in new blessings. A line you wrote in your journal years ago will suddenly come true. You'll realize that God never forgot a single word you whispered in the dark. When these signs begin to manifest, don't panic at the speed, rejoice in the precision. Heaven's acceleration is not reckless, it's refined. Everything will arrive exactly when your heart is ready to receive it. So, as you move through your days, stay watchful. The divine is in motion, and when the first sign appears, smile and whisper, "Lord, I see what you're doing, and I'm ready." Because once you recognize the signs, the fulfillment follows quickly. Acceleration doesn't announce itself loudly. It confirms itself quietly through undeniable evidence that heaven's hand is on your timeline. But before the full acceleration manifests, there is always a moment of tension, a divine test that feels like resistance right before release. Because every new level of speed demands a new level of stability. You may notice strange disruptions in the days ahead. Things that once flowed easily might suddenly feel delayed. Emotions may rise without warning. Doubts you thought were gone might whisper again. Don't be alarmed. These are not signs of failure. They are signs of refinement. Heaven often shakes what's fragile before strengthening what's firm. Acceleration attracts attention not just from heaven, but from opposition. The enemy fears momentum. He knows that once you step into divine velocity, his grip weakens. So he will try to use distraction fatigue and fear to slow your spirit down. But remember this, the closer the breakthrough, the louder the warfare sounds. These hidden challenges are not punishment, they are purification. God allows resistance to reveal readiness. He allows pressure to test posture. Because it's one thing to move fast, but another to move faithfully. You might face emotional turbulence, sudden waves of anxiety, restlessness, or spiritual fatigue. That's because your old self is being stretched to fit your new season. When the soul expands, it feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort is evidence of growth. You may also face relational shifts. People who once understood your vision might not grasp it now. Some will quietly distance themselves. Others will misunderstand your silence as pride. Don't chase explanation. Acceleration separates what cannot keep pace. The right ones will recognize your movement and adjust. The wrong ones will resist it and fall away. Both outcomes are protection. Another challenge will come through timing tension moments when you feel caught between old promises and new manifestations. You'll sense the breakthrough, but you won't yet see the full picture. That's the gap where faith must mature. God often accelerates outcomes, but he still tests patience. He moves fast, yet still asks you to trust slow. And finally, there will be tests of stewardship. When blessings come quickly, it's easy to forget the lessons learned in delay. But heaven is watching to see if you'll handle sudden success with the same humility you carried in hiddenness. Because divine acceleration is not about getting more, it's about becoming more. So when resistance shows up, smile. It's not here to stop you, it's here to solidify you. You're not fighting to earn the promise, you're proving you're ready to hold it. This brief turbulence before the breakthrough is sacred. It refines your discernment, deepens your humility, and strengthens your grip on purpose. The storm before acceleration is not a setback, it's a speed check. God ensures your heart can handle the altitude of where you're headed. So take a breath. Ground yourself in faith. Remind your spirit that sudden speed does not mean chaos. It means completion. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. And every ounce of resistance you feel right now is confirmation that what's coming next will be worth it. Now that acceleration has been released, there are divine instructions for how to walk in it, not anxiously, but intentionally. Because when God increases your pace, He also sharpens your focus. You can't run with the same habits you had while waiting. The season of stillness taught you how to trust. This season of movement will teach you how to steward. The first instruction is this: stay anchored in prayer. Acceleration without presence becomes distraction. You must keep your spirit quiet, even while everything around you moves quickly. This means creating sacred pauses, moments throughout your day, where you stop and recalibrate with heaven. Don't let the blessing make you busier than your intimacy with God allows. The faster things move, the deeper your roots must go. In this season, prayer isn't about asking, it's about listening. God will download strategies at the speed of your stillness. There will be divine nudges, small impressions, whispers, confirmations that appear as thoughts pay attention to them. They are the navigation system of acceleration. The second instruction, travel light. Let go of what no longer carries life. Not everything you held in the last season can follow you into this one. Release the expectations, the guilt, the relationships, the old versions of yourself that were necessary for the wilderness, but are too heavy for the promised land. Acceleration demands clarity, and clarity requires space. If something or someone drains your peace, slow down and reevaluate. Peace is not a luxury here, it's your compass. The third instruction, guard your atmosphere. When acceleration begins, voices multiply. Everyone has advice, opinions, or commentary. But not every voice deserves access. Surround yourself with those who carry discernment, not distraction. Your circle must match your calling. In divine acceleration, wrong conversations can detour destiny. Protect your focus like it's sacred ground, because it is. The fourth instruction, document your journey. Acceleration moves so fast that it's easy to forget what God has done. Write down the testimonies, the little wins, the miracles that seem small. Keep a record of God's faithfulness. It will become your map when the speed feels overwhelming. The fifth instruction, stay humble under favor. Acceleration is not about proving yourself, it's about glorifying God. When doors swing open, don't rush to boast, pause to bless. Your humility will preserve what pride would destroy. The higher the wind carries you, the lower your heart must bow. The sixth instruction, act on divine prompting quickly. Acceleration rewards obedience. When the Spirit nudges you to move, move. Don't overthink. Don't hesitate. In this season, delayed obedience can become missed opportunity. You've been trained in waiting now. You must be trained in responding. God will send instructions that seem simple, but unlock major doors. You'll feel a stirring that's your signal. Follow it without fear. The seventh instruction, expect favor, but prepare for friction. Acceleration doesn't mean ease, it means empowerment. You'll have to make decisions faster, think sharper, and discern deeper. The winds will push, but you must still steer. Remember, God's speed doesn't remove human responsibility, it amplifies it. Keep your heart pure, your hands clean, your motives aligned. And the eighth instruction, rest even while running. Acceleration is not exhaustion, it's efficiency. God is teaching you to operate from flow, not force. You'll get more done with less striving because divine timing multiplies effort. Trust that rest is part of your rhythm. You are not falling behind when you pause. You're recharging for precision. These are not mere suggestions. They are sacred strategies. If you walk in them, acceleration will not overwhelm you. It will sustain you. The enemy's goal is to make you so busy with movement that you miss meaning. But heaven's goal is to teach you motion with mindfulness, speed, with surrender. So rise each morning and declare, God, let my steps match your pace. Not too fast that I outrun grace, not too slow that I delay purpose. Move at the rhythm of revelation, not reaction. Because in divine acceleration, obedience is the engine and peace is the fuel. If you follow these instructions, you will not only experience acceleration, you will embody it. You'll become living evidence that when God breathes, time bows. With acceleration comes movement, and with movement comes exposure. But hear this clearly, you are not unprotected. Heaven never calls you forward without covering you first. Even now, as you move into this season of divine speed, there is a shield surrounding you, not one made by human strength, but forged in divine light. It's invisible to the eye, but impenetrable to the enemy. The same God who accelerates you also assigns angels to accompany you. They go before you to prepare the way, and they follow behind to seal what has been secured. You are not stepping into the unknown alone. You are escorted by heaven's army. There will be moments where the increase feels overwhelming when you wonder, am I safe moving this fast? And heaven will whisper back, yes, because I'm the one pushing the wind. Divine acceleration does not expose you to danger. It reveals God's dominion over it. You may feel stretched, but you are not at risk. What God initiates, He insulates. There will be traps. The enemy sets subtle distractions, disguised friendships, opportunities that glitter but carry no grace. But even before they appear, discernment will rise in you like fire. You will simply know, this is not for me. That is divine protection working through spiritual sensitivity. You will walk into rooms that once intimidated you and feel calm. You will face conversations that once triggered you and respond with peace. That's not personality. That's presence. God's presence steadies what human confidence could never anchor. And when the acceleration brings attention, when more eyes are watching, more people are speaking, more voices are commenting, remember this: favor and protection are twins. The same anointing that attracts also deflects. Those who plot against you will find confusion instead of strategy. Those who speak against you will watch their words return empty. Because when God says, "Touch not my anointed," that decree still stands. You are wrapped in divine insurance. Every step you take is pre-approved by purpose. Every door you walk through has already been scanned by heaven's security. Yes, the speed may feel new. Yes, the exposure may seem large. But you are not fragile. You are fortified. God's protection is not a bubble. It's a presence. It moves with you, covering you in transitions, battles, and blessings alike. Even if arrows fly, they will not touch you. Even if storms rise, they will not sink you. Even if fear tries to whisper, peace will speak louder. So rest in this truth. You are not racing toward danger. You are being carried through destiny. And every force that once opposed you will now serve your story. The acceleration is not unsafe. It's sacred. You are surrounded, secured, and sealed in divine protection. No weapon formed against your momentum shall prosper. You can run freely now because heaven is running with you. And now the wind that once pressed against you is lifting you. Everything that felt heavy begins to lighten. Everything that was confusing begins to make sense. You realize that what God was building in you wasn't just breakthrough, it was becoming. The transformation doesn't happen in one single moment. It unfolds through every yes you gave in faith. Every time you kept believing when you could have walked away, something inside you changed. Now you stand stronger, clearer, and more anchored than ever before. The fulfillment of this acceleration is not only what surrounds you, it's who you've become within it. You are no longer waiting to see the promise. You are the promise manifest. The evidence of God's acceleration is not just in your success. It's in your spirit, healed, refined, radiant with peace. Doors that once intimidated you now feel natural. Opportunities that once overwhelmed you now align with your purpose. The blessings no longer feel foreign, they feel familiar, because you've grown into the version of yourself that was always meant to carry them. The transformation is deeper than progress, it's identity. You have transitioned from striving to flowing, from questioning to knowing. The same storms that once frightened you now remind you of how far you've come. You no longer panic when winds rise, because you recognize them as the same winds that carried you before. This is fulfillment, not comfort, but confidence in divine rhythm. You've learned that faith doesn't mean having every answer. It means being at peace in motion. You'll look back and realize the acceleration wasn't random. It was revelation. Every no redirected you. Every delay developed you. Every closed door confirmed your distinction. You are not who you were when the waiting began. You have become the vessel God always saw. Your surroundings will reflect this internal shift. People will notice a glow not of pride, but of presence. Your voice will carry weight not because it's louder, but because it's purer. Your influence will expand not by striving, but by simply being aligned. And when others ask, how did everything change so fast, you will smile and say, it wasn't me. God accelerated everything when I finally surrendered. That's the secret of divine fulfillment. It's not about chasing what's next. It's about embodying what's now. You no longer live from delay. You live from destiny. The waiting made you wise. The acceleration made you aware. And together they form the version of you that heaven always intended. This transformation isn't just for you, it's for those watching. God accelerated you not only to bless you, but to broadcast His faithfulness through you. Your story is becoming someone else's confirmation that it's not too late, that God still moves suddenly, that delay still ends in destiny. So stand tall. Breathe in this fulfillment. You are walking in answered prayer. You are living inside prophecy. And every step forward now is proof that God keeps His promises not in theory, but in real time. The acceleration was never just about speed. It was about synchronization, your heart with His, your path with His plan, your life with His glory. This is fulfillment, when your spirit rests even while your destiny runs, when what you prayed for no longer feels distant because it now lives within you. You've arrived not at the end of the journey, but at the beginning of divine flow. The breakthrough is not coming, it's become. Take a deep breath. This is the moment where the word settles into your spirit, not as inspiration, but as impartation. You have heard heaven's decree, felt its rhythm, and now you carry its seal. The waiting season has ended. The slow pace has broken. Acceleration has begun, and nothing can reverse it. Before we close, speak these truths aloud. Let them echo through your atmosphere. Let them reprogram every corner of your faith. Repeat them not as wishes, but as declarations. 1. I move in divine timing, not behind, not ahead, but perfectly aligned. 2. Heaven's acceleration is my portion. What was delayed now unfolds with ease. 3. No opposition can stop what God has set in motion. I walk with peace, I carry purpose, and I am covered by divine protection. Now pause. Feel those words root themselves inside you. Every cell in your being begins to resonate with truth. You are not the same as when this message began. The old you waited, the new you walks. The old you doubted, the new you discerns. The old you begged for signs, the new you is the sign. Heaven is accelerating everything, and you are ready for it. The blessings are not random, they're righteous. The doors are not coincidences, they're confirmations. Every path you step on from this point is paved by divine intention. And so I release this final blessing over you. May your steps be swift, but your spirit steady. May your discernment sharpen as your destiny expands. May every divine promise find its manifestation without delay. May peace become your rhythm and favor your fragrance. When the days move fast, may grace slow your mind enough to notice the miracle in motion. When the winds of change roar, may your heart remember the same God who called you is the same God who carries you. You are not entering acceleration. You are acceleration embodied. The world will see in you what divine timing looks like in human form. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your obedience will open realms. And from this moment forward, declare it boldly. My breakthrough is sudden. God is accelerating everything. Now walk in it calmly, confidently covered. Because heaven's clock just struck now, and your life is already moving to the rhythm of divine speed. It is done. It is sealed. It is fulfilled.